Hello and welcome to Topham Chats, the show I chat to various members of the Rooster Teeth community. My guest this week is Giries. Hey man, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm just sitting here talking to you,
Cool.
British bastard. How's it going?
Just chilling out. Yeah, it's good. It's been a Friday where I've had so many things to do. I wrote my journal today. I think a few people have seen it. It's like I put it into a Google Drive document so I could just post it like once I was done with it, and it was 3 A4 pages, and I'm just like, I've written so much. I know tomorrow's journal is going to be huge as well because I've just hit 8 years on the site as well, so it's just like,
damn,
holy crap, things have been
that's a big milestone. It's like I've written so much, I have to go find a publisher now. I just can't
quickly. Where's a book publisher? And yes.
Make me millions.
Yeah. So, usually I start by asking this very simple, although quite tricky question. Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter or Funhouse?
Rooster Teeth. I've been a RVB fan since 2008, and I just prefer RT content in general.
Ah, okay. So, did you discover RVB first, and then you was like, I guess that's all that was really around at that time.
Well, no, they had Strangerhood and Panics, and I believe, what was it?
Supreme
Magic.
Commander?
Yeah, they had that, and then there was Magic 1-800, I think. I think that's the name of the show. I didn't watch it. Yeah, and how I found out about RVB was I was big into Halo, and my buddies that I played Xbox Live with, they recommended RVB to me. But how they described it, because apparently they weren't caught up, was like a lot of the slapstick stuff that the first 5 seasons were known for. And I came in during Reconstruction.
Okay.
And as for people who've watched RVB know, Reconstruction is when they brought in like the whole serious plot with the freelancers and stuff, and just Project Freelancer in general. And I was not expecting that. I still love the fuck out of it though, and I've been a fan of that ever since. And I started watching more and more stuff, the shorts, podcasts, got an Achievement Hunter a bit, and this all culminated into me finally going to RTX during 2013, and I loved it. I loved every single second of it. Just walking around the convention center, seeing cool stuff, going to panels, and what I didn't expect was that will be one of my favorite parts, is just meeting people that I connected with almost right off the bat. We were all there for the same reason, and I could just literally go to anyone while waiting in line and just talk about not just Rooster Teeth stuff, just talk about just common interest that surprisingly I had a lot with people in there, and we just all got along and had fun. And I think one of my favorite moments was for the mixer they had during 2013 in one of the ballrooms in the convention center, and that was just a lot of fun. And ever since that, I told myself, all right, I'm gonna get a sponsorship, and I'm going to try to become part of this crazy group of people. And now here I am talking to you.
Yay!
What the fuck has my life become?
So yeah, that's one of the things I like, that we're all united under a common interest, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what we have to talk about, because it can inform so much of what we're doing and like why we're talking to one another, but that might not necessarily be the only reason that we're talking to one another, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was just a good base to go about, which I found. It was a lot of my relationships that I made with people on the site. Of course, we were there for the content, and just we were fans of just Rooster Teeth in general. But with a lot of people, it just became more than that. We started just talking. A lot of my friends, we just talked more and more regularly. We started doing like game nights with each other, just chilling on Skype, or just different things. And our relationships grew past just being fans of Rooster Teeth and to something where I have a lot of friends that I consider close, some closer than friends I've met through like college or stuff. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because the people on here, I've met a bunch of awesome people because of that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I've found that a lot as well. That there's a lot of
Yeah.
people on the site that know way more about me than many of the people that like I've ever interacted with in like, well, like face to face as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those weird things that it's a platform to be open with other people on, and everyone, like with the way things are, and there's a lot of online anonymity. It's one of those places where it can be, oh, I am this person. This is who I am. I don't need to hide really too much of a username. And it's nice that people are on the Rooster Teeth site in particular accountable for what they say, and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna own this. I don't want there to be like any controversy. I want people to understand where I'm coming from, and it's nice that, yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, the reason I used to have a different, just like generic username when I first signed up in the site, but eventually I changed it to my name, Giries, just because one, no one else had the fucking name. Who the hell do you know has the name fucking Giries? No one. I only know one other Giries, and that's my grandpa.
Ah, right.
And but the other thing was just, I had used the internet for, since '06. I had a lot of like older people tell me, oh, always remain anonymous, don't give out, your information, or don't like anyone know what kind of identity you have. But even at 16, I kind of realized, especially with just the proliferation of social media and direction like internet culture was going towards, and especially in the RT community, you didn't really need that anonymity anymore. And I realized this is like, I'd rather, especially in this kind of community, just, be myself and be out there and let, have my identity open to everyone so they know who I really am. I don't want to hide anything about myself.
Yeah.
And that, and doing that, it made me a very, how to put this, a much more outgoing person. Like, I'm an introvert, and because of that, I didn't really pursue many things outside in terms like social settings.
Yeah.
But participating on RT site, it is really made me come out of my shell, I think, a lot.
Yeah, I've certainly found that with myself as well. Like I used to be like, oh, I don't know whether I'll go along to events or anything. But the more I was talking on the site, the more I was active there, it bled over into, I don't want to say my real life because that would take away from the interactions I have on the internet. But like, it bled over, and like now I'm just like, when I meet people, especially at RTX, I was like, internet people, you're all here, and I'm like loud and fun, and it's just like, it's great, but it helps me embrace that side of my personality that can come out and just like be there. But it's taken a while and a lot of me, I don't know, I guess writing to try and figure stuff out as well. So I guess we're kind of in the same camp where we use the RT site to really explore how we can make friends and what kind of person we can be. It certainly helped me out in that aspect, which is one of the reasons I enjoy being on the site so much. And I'm not ready to let it go, especially after all the changes that there's been. And now it looks like we're finally getting back to the functionality that we had before, and it's looking a lot better actually. Just this week it's stepped up a bit as well.
Yeah, there have been some notable changes in the past week that are giving me hope. I'm still kind of a little annoyed that it's taken so long to this point, but to see some progress, it's good to see. I think one of the it's not really having to do with the site in general, but I think that maybe things might be looking up is, I don't know if you've heard yet, but apparently they kept the old site in like a backup link.
Yep.
Have you gone on there yet?
Oh, I have. I've been exploring around.
Yeah, and funny thing is, I found this site about a month ago when I was just Google searching something for like an old journal that I was talking to one of my friends about, and I found this link. It said dev.roosterteeth.com. It's like, what is this? And I clicked, and it's like, boom, old site. It's like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And I didn't like start going and telling people about it because, one, it didn't seem like my place to,
Yep.
and two, I felt that if I started blabbing about it, a lot of, the new site, let's be honest, is not as active as what the old site was, not even close.
No.
And I felt like if I started disseminating that the old site was still back, and I feel like a lot of active users that are currently on the new site, they would all just shift all their activity back to the old site, and that would kill the new site's activity in the crib. Honestly, it seems just like a big detriment. Why I don't really have a problem, I guess, with it happening now. Some of the forumers found it, and it's been spreading all over the place. And I think it's a good thing now, just because, especially with the past week or so, RT's been making some progress with the site and directing more of its attention back onto the community side of things. So I think this is actually a good thing that we have the old site back and just a little place where people can go and reminisce while more and more features and things get added to the new site and just make it better. So that way when the old site's shut down for good, we can actually come back to something that's usable and something that we can start doing more community-oriented stuff on. Yeah, that's my thought on it.
It's good that like they're taking on feedback, and it actually feels now like they're listening to us. Like for me, before Barbara's journal about the state of the community and she wanted people's opinions, it to me didn't seem like, even before, like from before Barbara's journal, didn't seem to me like they were hearing anything the community was saying, and it's it feels like now they're just like, oh, actually we've been listening to you all along, but we've just stayed quiet because we didn't really have much to say. And now that we know things are progressing, it's kind of set my mind at ease, saying like, oh yeah, we've got all this going on. We know we should be here. And to see like Miles write a journal post and Gavin write another journal post, so they're pushing out their own activity onto the site as well, rather than using, I don't know, other forms of social media. Sure, they're still going to use Twitter and things like that because it's convenient, but like if they're going to post something, it's nice to see that they're posting things back on the site and like picking activity back up there, which is a good way to get people to use the site, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that was, I think, two biggest things that it kind of kept increasing really the disconnect was, it for me personally, I felt like they were asking us for feedback and like kind of listening to us. Well, my problem was I didn't feel like they were taking enough action on that feedback. We weren't seeing enough things being done as a result of that. And of course, just the fact that the fan base and the community is fragmented all over throughout like different mediums. You got you have Reddit, you have Twitter, you have Tumblr, you have Facebook, you have groups on TeamSpeak, one of which I'm part of.
Yep.
And then also the RT site in general. It's hard to to give them some credit. It's kind of hard to gauge an overall like stance or reaction from the community because it's just all spread out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it still doesn't excuse kind of the state of things.
The point out of that really is that the RT site should be a centralized location for everything to be done through, and it's started splintering off. There's like a whole bunch of different groups, and they're not necessarily focused on the RT site. The UK group itself right now has a lot of activity on Facebook, which I frankly would totally miss had I not really just been dragged into it. And it's nice to see that it's so active, but at the same time, there's no posts relaying that information on the Rooster Teeth site at all. So it's kind of like, oh, the community's in these different places, but there should be an effort to pull everything back together, which I hope the UK group's just got a new leader, so hopefully they're going to drag it towards the RT site. Yeah,
Right.
most things.
Yeah, when the migration hit, there were all kinds of different groups that used RT in some capacity or operated in some way. There were some that completely were dependent on RT, like RT Radio. They rely on the chat rooms. They use RT as their main form of spreading out information about their events and stuff. I mean, they use Twitter also, but RT was mostly their hub. And when the migration hit, chat rooms are gone, groups are borked, and they took the brunt on. And hopefully, once we've heard word that chat should be coming back relatively soon. So hopefully, Joe will be able to get things up and running again.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my favorite groups, just frequenting.
It's one of the most fun as well, because it's just like, oh, we're here at this time every week, just chatting, having fun, listening to music, and it was awesome to just chill out. But
it was a nice way to relieve stress on Fridays after a day of school or something like that.
Yeah,
and then we have other groups that like RTUK to extent, since it's done most of the stuff on Facebook now.
Yep.
They're thriving because they are not relying on the RT site, but as time goes on and the site does return back to its state, more attention does need to be brought back. So, especially, I think,
took care of those
it's one thing for the newer user or for the already existing users to get screwed over by a lot of things, but more than anyone, it's the newer users that are feeling the effects of this more long term really than anything.
Yeah, I think one of the things is the newer users don't know because the way the community's been over the past few years, and especially over the past few months, it's been in all these other places, and they're just like, oh, these people are passionate about it, but a lot of people have migrated away from the site. It's getting the people will migrate back to the Rooster Teeth site, the people that have been using it in the past, whereas the old people will be like, oh, this group's gone a bit quiet, or something like that, and it's just informing the newer people in the group to be like, oh, come join us on the Rooster Teeth site and jump in there, because you'll likely meet more people or interact in a different way entirely. So it's it's a very interesting problem that there is at the moment.
I think one of my biggest not gripes is just observations I made about new users, just the new generation of just people who use the internet in general. I don't want to say there's a lack of education, because you're not really educated on how to go about on the internet and participate in online communities and forums. You kind of have to learn that yourself unless you have someone helping you. But it feels like this new generation, they're not as intuitive when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
I participate in this forum thread called Adopt a Newbie, where new users, it's in the first stop forum threads and on RT. And the point of it all is pretty much in the name. You message a new user, and you pretty much walk them through and help them get their footing on the site, and show them what community groups to join, what things to follow, or how to conduct yourself as a member of the site and its community. And so some people, they ask very good questions that I haven't thought of. There are some that no fault of their own, is just they grew up in a different environment on the internet than how I did, and they're asking questions that would be common knowledge for users who have used the site longer, like you and I.
Yeah.
It would be.
How do I friend? No, calm down. Just.
It's it's nothing overly bad. It's just something I've noticed with new users, and I feel like we have to kind of re-educate a lot of people when it comes to coming into the community. That's what it seems like to me. And anyway, I think something RT could do is just promote more things for new users to get involved in the community. It feels like, because there are longevity at the end of the day. Say no matter what state the RT site and community is, if we're not getting any new members, it's gonna die.
Yeah, if there's not going to be new members
matter.
on the site, there's not going to be... The RT site isn't going to be around for much longer. Rooster Teeth might continue doing everything fine, and they'll carry on and everything will be fine for them. However, the community side and the support that they've got from people for, say, like, the extra live stream that's just been on, like, that might go away, because there's lots of... And there were only a few journals about it leading up to it, actually. But... Yeah, it could possibly have been even bigger had they done more promotion for it, but also they don't want to shove it down people's throats. But I don't know.
I have opinions about whether or not they want to shove things down people's throats, but that's something else entirely.
Yeah.
It's really important that we help out the new people that could very well be the next, people who help drive what this community stands for.
Yeah.
I feel like if that's the duty of the current members. That was what we have to do in order to keep this thing alive and growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've talked a lot about the community.
Indeed.
That's cool. I usually end an initial podcast with someone by asking them to ask me a question about anything.
How long have you been playing the guitar?
I have been playing guitar for... I must have started in 2004, I think. Maybe 2003, so either 11 or 12 years. So, yeah, I picked it up and I was just like, okay, I want to play guitar. And at the time I was in a lesson with someone else, and like they were wanting to pick it up as well, but they weren't nearly as determined as I was. So like I'd pick it up and like go away and learn everything that my instructor had like been like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing this week. So I'd go away and learn it, and the other person was like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up. And yeah, their coordination was also poor, so I was just like, ah. And then I started doing it. I was like, yes, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. And then yeah, I just kept playing. Learned lots of songs. It was just like, yeah, this is for me.
Do you remember the first song you ever learned to play?
It was Giries by Audio Slave.
I have never heard that song. Is it rock or?
Yeah, it's a pretty rocky song. When you hear it, you'll probably recognise it, but it's also like it's very similar to a track called "I'm Broken" by Pantera, and they're like it's a really famous riff, and they sound very similar. They sound very alike. But yeah, my guitar instructor was like, okay, we're gonna learn this song, and it involves a whole different bunch of things, and it's a really awesome song to like start learning because it's not like distinctly complicated in any way, but it sounds great. So like even playing it relatively poorly, like I was still like hammering it out, and it sounded great. And I was like, yeah, even on my rubbish guitar and my crap amp, this sounds great.
Yeah, the guitar has been an instrument I've always wanted to pick up. I learned some basic chords and just basic strumming, but I never really had the time to just sit down and dedicate, a good amount of practice and time and just learning the instrument. I think once I'm done with my studies this quarter, I'm gonna. You've heard Everlong by Foo Fighters?
Yep.
Yeah, I want to try to learn that song. I think that would be a good song for me just to start out to learn and just improve my skills from there.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty cool song to learn. There's like loads of different components to it as well. Like it sounds really simple in parts, and they're okay. Like the strumming pattern's a bit weird, but it's easily learnable. It's just got weird emphasis on it. But that's just one of those things you've got to learn. Just like, oh, there's different emphases on like which notes to play, like how many strings to strum and things like that. And it's a good song to learn to start actually.
Yeah, I'm lucky that when it comes to like fingering the actual guitar, I've played a violin before, so fingering a string instrument is not new to me. It's something I've spent years learning and mastering, and but not everything I can transfer over from the violin.
Yeah.
Hell, you even with the violin, it took me the longest time just to get the instrument down. And it was partially because I didn't really have that much motivation to, practice and go beyond what was expected to me when I was performing in orchestra. That kind of changed when I finished high school, and I wasn't, kept down by what music I had to play. I could play whatever I want, so I started playing fiddle music, Irish fiddle music,
Nice.
and I improved exponentially, and I literally carry my violin every day with me to campus just so I usually have like some time to kill before class, so I just pull it out and I play for 30 minutes. That's my practice for the day,
Nice.
and I try to do that every day just so I can keep my intuition and my skills where they need to be. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for being my guest this week.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's like when you messaged me, it's like, wait. He wants me? Fuck no. He's thinking of some other Giries. He wants my grandpa. No, fuck that. But yeah, no, I always enjoy helping out people with podcasts and stuff. I love doing it. It's a fun experience.
Well, it's been great. So, thank you very much. And where can we find you around the internet should we want to follow you?
You can find me on roosterteeth.com/user/Giries. That's Giries. I usually frequent forum threads like I'm usually in the RBB threads or the Adopt a Newbie thread.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find me on Rooster Speak if you ever join the group.
Mm-hmm.
And on Twitter, my name is @GiriusSaba. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's where you can find me if you want to stalk me and see what I have to say, which is very, very disappointing. You need to make better life choices if that's all you have to do with your life.
Well, like I said, thank you very much for being my guest.
All right, take it easy.
Catch you later, everyone. Bye-bye.